Thank you, Mr. President. All night long. Well, that's going to be fun. By the way, the Oklahoma City Thunders aren't playing tonight, so you may get a few more viewers. It's nice to look over and see probably the most articulate and knowledgeable of all of the alarmists. Historically, as our newest senator, Ed Markey from Massachusetts. I have had the enjoyable time of you can be good friends and still disagree. Certainly, the senator from Rhode Island knows that because we had a little disagreement last week. And certainly the senator from California, even though she's not smiling. Oh, there she are smiling tonight. But anyway, this has been a long, long time that we've been working on this. It started with the Kyoto Treaty. And I think most people have forgotten about that when during the Clinton-Gore administration, when Gore came back from, where was it in California, in South America, they came up with this thing. Yeah, Rio de Janeiro, that's right. And came back and said, oh, we're all going to die. This is global warming's coming. And I would say this, he knows what he's doing, in that the New York Times speculated that Al Gore is very likely the first environmental billionaire in existence. So I guess he knows what he is doing there. I think it's, in spite of the fact of what's happened recently, I think it's probably necessary to have something that's all night, something to get the attention of the American people, because you keep saying, and I hear it over and over again, climate change is real. Global warming is real. It's real. It's real. It's real. And if you say it enough times, then people are going to think it's real. And so tonight, for all night long, you can say it's real, it's real, it's real. But I think that people have heard that before, and times have changed. Let me tell you a couple of things that have happened that, unfortunately, and I know a lot of you regret this. I remember so well when Lisa Jackson was the administrator of the EPA. And I've often said some very good things about her, because she, even though she was very, very liberal, and I'm ranked as most of the time as the most conservative member of the Senate, and yet when you ask her a direct question, she would always come out with an honest answer. And I remember back, and I asked my good friend Senator Markey just a few minutes ago, who all was over there. Let me first of all say, Mr. President, that the United Nations that started all this stuff, they have one big annual party, and it's in usually very nice places, and people go. Usually 190, I think the last count was 190 countries are there. I remember talking to some of my good friends in one of the sub-Saharan African countries who was there with their administration. And I said, you don't believe this stuff, do you? He said, no, but this is the biggest party of the year. Well, one of the big parties in '09 was Copenhagen. And it turned out to be, they set a record, how cold it was in Copenhagen. I remember that very well. But I remember at that time, and I hope I get this right, because we had several people from the administration. We had, at that time, Senator John Kerry, of course, Congressman Ed Markey, Nancy Pelosi. Who else was there? John Kerry. And President Obama, who's Senator Obama at that time. No, he was already president at that time. Anyway, they all went there, and they were all, their job was to convince the 191 other countries that were in Copenhagen that we in the United States are going to pass some type of real cap and trade legislation. And so we had a hearing. At that time, I think Republicans were in control at that time. But I asked Lisa Jackson, I said, you know, I'm going to go to Copenhagen tomorrow to be a one-man truth squad. Everybody has been there talking about what we're going to do here in the United States, and somebody has to tell them the truth. So I said, I have a feeling when I leave tomorrow, you're going to have a declaration. And when you do, it has to be based on some type of science. And I could tell by looking at her that they were going to have the endangerment finding. Remember that? I said to my friend Senator Markey, the endangerment finding. Anyway, I left the next morning for Copenhagen, and that afternoon they had the endangerment finding. And before he left, though, I said, when you have the endangerment finding, it has to be based on some type of science. what science are you going to use? She said, well, mostly the IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. And, you know, and so that's what the kind of science that they've been using for a long period of time. But ironically, the timing couldn't be better. It wasn't a matter of weeks after that. It was a matter of hours after that that ClimateGate was exposed. And ClimateGate was it all started with East Anglia University's Climate Research Unit, that's the CRU, one of the main universities that helps put together the information about global warming for the IPCC. There it was disclosed that the IPCC was systematically distorting the facts, cooking the science of global warming to either cover up data that didn't tell the story they wanted everyone to hear and exaggerated the impacts of the changing climate to help drive people out of fear into action.